Greetings and welcome to episode 33 of my Empire Total War Darth mod Knights of St. John campaign. And this, my friends, have it last time, and it's been quite a while since we've been back at this campaign. We have been pushing forward other campaigns, notably the US and the British campaigns, but now we are back, my friends. It's been quite a call for this to come back. After this was the Ottoman Empire campaign, a game which we haven't seen for quite a while. But let's examine where we are. This is a campaign where we will probably take Goa this time. As you can see, we have an army here, a very powerful army here, which has purposely set itself to take Goa. Look at that. I mean, that is an absolute joy. Plenty of firepower here, backed up by some Marines as well here. 2 regiments of Marines. We need that sort of that resolve, that backbone they provide there. We've also got some sepoys and also a company infantry here, sort of our standard line infantry. We've also backed up by 2 household cavalry regiments and indeed 2 cuirassiers as well, heavy cavalry, which are quite considerable, the backbone of our army in terms of our cavalry deployment. As you can see here, we have captured the great swathe here of the south of the subcontinent, India. And we were in a brutal war with the Marathas, and for a long time by ourselves. There was a conflict between the Mughal Empire and the Marathans. We sort of got involved in that, but the council directed us in this direction here to take India and try and take the riches, the resources of India under our control, which of course we did. We sent an expedition here. We had an army group was sent here. We captured Arcot, we captured Mysore, which is a real brutish fight, it really was. And then we went on sort of an expedition of ourselves, trying to capture the main cities. Now, unfortunately, we didn't manage to take Hyderabad, which really we wanted to sort of have this sort of redoubt here where you had Satara and Hyderabad sort of the front line, as it were. So we had all of this sealed off for ourselves. So everything below these 2 cities would have been ours, and we'd have had this city as well, which would have sort of anchored our right flank, as it were. We'd have had all the sort of the major resources of sort of India would have been under our control, because these from sort of Satara downwards, and I'd even include Ceylon, but that's under Dutch control at the moment. All of these lands are sort of the most fertile, the richest lands. They've got the mines, gem mines, they've got the gold mine fields. So all of these would be in the richest. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to take that. Our resources were sort of diverted elsewhere. We had to move back to Arcot in case that was taken, and sort of defend Arcot. We've had to sort of pretty much keep an army in Mysore for the entirety of the campaign in the subcontinent here, because without Mysore, it has been the linchpin, it's been the anchor of our foray into India. As you can see, we do have a huge amount of trade now, but then the council sort of shifted us away from capturing the inland regions, and then said, Mala, why don't you take all of the coastal regions, and that way then you have access to all of the sort of predominant trade ports within India. And indeed that's what we did. As you can see here, now we have control of all the major ports, including up here in the north, or northeast should I say, is Calcutta here, Bengal. We've brought in quite a substantial force here to hold this. Of course, we've still got the remnants here of the Marathans here. This army is quite clearly going to barrel down and try and take Calcutta from us, but the chances of that, especially with 3 guard regiments in here, is remote. And of course we also have here look at that. I mean, that is a joy to see. We've got 5 guard units here, and indeed 2 24-pound howitzers, plenty of cuirassiers. We're sort of building another army here, as you can see here, recruiting that. Look at that. Really are going to pack a punch here, 24-pounders. And we've also got the ship here, the Intrepid here, Super War. Now, initially we were going to use this army, and we were going to sort of launch that attack against Hyderabad, but of course they've taken this now. So we've got to settle what we got now, because we're allied with the Mughal Empire. Now that was a sort of necessity on our part. We needed to sort of ally with them, and ultimately they came through for us. They managed to push through for us. As you can see, they took the rest of India for themselves, right up to the Punjab here, but of course we've got Afghanistan here. But Russia really is an absolute monster. It's a titan here, and look at the size of Russia. It just goes all the way right from the Urals all the way into the subcontinent, then all the way down here as far as you can see, stretching right into Scandinavia. That is just a monstrous empire, it really is. And we're at war though with another titan here, as you can see, with Poland. However, Poland, I believe, I'm not sure if that's still the case. Let's quickly look here. Provinces. They're at war with in Poland indeed. So as you can see, look at the Netherlands here, look at the Dutch, United Provinces as it is now. But look at the size of this. It's absolutely huge. They are one of the predominant Western nation, as it were, and they are in a brutal war with Poland, into the point that they've actually taken Königsberg here. If they take Gdansk, they've effectively linked up the sort of east and west. We've also allied here with Sweden, which we normally do, my friends, but we've brought Sweden into the fold as it were, an ally. That's something we've definitely needed to do. We've got Russia, of course, is a predominant. We're allied with Ottoman Empire because they are one of our main benefactors in terms of trade. Look at that, our trade empire is vast. It really is. 28,000 coming just from the Ottoman Empire itself. We've got 67,000 coming in from other trades, so basically from the New World and other trade routes. We're also massively active within the global trade, as you can see here. Look at this. 3 out of the 5 trade nodes we control in Brazil. Ivory Coast, we have 2 out of the 5 here we control in the Ivory Coast, bringing in huge sums of money for us. Then Madagascar, we have 3 of 5 here in Madagascar. Unfortunately, nothing in East Indies. Now, East Indies, we have been, taking a beating here in East Indies. Every time we try to launch a campaign in East Indies to take these trade nodes, we have been pushed back very, very aggressively by Poland and by the Marathan Confederacy. However, if we take Goa, then all signs are that once we take Goa, the Marathan Confederacy will collapse. And that is exactly what we want. So we are going to take Goa. We're going to take this fight. Now, bear in mind, we sort of retrofitted this army here. We've got a lot of retrofitting to do with our armies here. As you can see, this army here is only having 12 pounders. This one's got 12 pounders of foot, 12 pounders of howitzers. We need to retrofit these because ultimately, our ultimate goal. I know many may say, Mali, you need to move against Hyderabad. You need to move against the Mughal Empire. But if you a quick look here, who their allies are. And that is United Provinces. We don't want to incur the wrath of United Provinces, not now, because they have a presence, a very heavy presence here, look at that, within the subcontinent, and they really are letting us know that if you step over the line, then you will face the consequences. They even have Ceylon here. Now we could take Ceylon, but before they can reinforce Ceylon we could take it. However, we don't have the naval capacity to hold off the Dutch. The Dutch are exceptionally strong, so for the meantime we're just going to hold our ground against the Dutch at the moment. We're not going to go against the Mughal Empire. I know some of the council, some of the hawks within the council are asking us to sort of take all of India for ourselves. And if we do that, of course, we would have the power, without a shadow, we'd have the resources to take the Dutch on head on. But we do have our assets quite stretched out quite far. We do have, of course, Malta, which is the absolute key, the beating heart of the empire. As you can see, we've got, I believe it's nearly 100,000 coming in, 96,000 coming in total here. We've also managed to hold Tunis with a very strong army, but no cannon, which is a little bit disconcerting. And then of course we've got Algiers. However, we are allied with Spain, but as you can see here, we do have a lot of, there's 8,000 coming in here from Spain, 3,000 going out. As you can see, 59,000 going in there, and once it's sort of, when we pick up the trade coming from Spain as well, that of course increases to 67,000. But as you can see, they are under the cosh here from the Austrians, and the Austrians are bringing in some heavy firepower here. A little bit, so we disjointed these armies. There's no coherent structure to these armies at all. But I think that, oh look at that, I think that the Walloon Guards, one of my absolute favourite regiments of any. They do have some very, very strong forces here, the Spanish, so we can only hope they can hold Madrid. But are they at peace? I could have the wrong end of the stick for that. I do beg your pardon, they're allied with Spain, so they must be moving with Spain. That's complete. I do apologise, my friends, that's me reading that situation completely wrong there. They're actually moving into guard Spain, which is good. We're allied with Spain, which is excellent. Now, our main goal, and should we say this is born out of, should we say, some kind of definite malice on my part, and I think some of the council can share that sort of theory with me, that ill will towards the British, and that is we want to take Britain. We want to capture Britain for two reasons. First, it'll give us a stepping stone within the West, And secondly, it's because Britain was the one nation that almost brought this campaign to its knees within the first couple of years. Literally within the first 4 years, Britain sent a fleet and they blockaded Malta. And if it wasn't for some, shall we say, some slippery, some backhanded tactics on our part of being able to push them out, push the British fleet out, and then moving our fleet back in to guard the port, and that they sort of kept their distance, and they spent most of their time here in Sirte. We've given Tripoli actually given Tripoli to New Spain. That gave us a chance to build up, but we've never forgiven them, never forgiven the British for what they did there. They almost brought this campaign to a close in a very, very short space of time. As you can see, they got quite a bit of power here, but if we could just take Britain, oh, what a wonder. As you can see, they are, look at that, I mean, that is just an absolute brute of an army. I mean, Irish volunteers, British Fusiliers, Swiss Grenadiers, blunderbuss shotgunners. They have the real cadre here, the real cadre of the core of the British Empire is here. However, as you can see, London is not well defended, and indeed, we've managed to land a spy in here just to keep an eye on things, to gain that intelligence here, gentlemen. And they do have also Scotland here. Oh, look at that! I mean, look at that! I mean, even if our displeasure, our dislike of the British, you have to admire, I mean, the makeup of these armies. I mean, that's an absolute wonder, it really is. We're talking the absolute creme de la creme here of British forces, it really is. But, despite our sort of admiration for those regiments and those units and those armies, we have to take the fight to the British, but now we can, and indeed, we also control this corner, this sort of southeastern corner here of the Caribbean is under our control. And we're just keeping our head below the parapet here, below the radar, so we don't sort of attract too much attention. But as you can see here, we can actually upgrade this port here. It's 480 here, but we need to upgrade as much as we can. 2,500, let's do that. We want to get as much as we can out of here. Oh, look at that, 4,500. 70 loaves. What's the actual price for sugar at the moment? Because the world trade here, it really is important to us. Now, sugar is only at 16. What we have done, as you can see here, is swamp the market. So where we are predominant, the main sort of predominant producers and suppliers of these, they have gone down. My ivory is 27 still, and indeed, spices are still 39. We are absolutely, look, I mean, look how much spices we're throwing out here. We are being hit here by India, but that's because we don't have access to some of the ports because of Goa. But we do. Unless we're being raided here, of course, we might be raided, but India here is missing something here. But we can get sugar here. Even though it's only at 16 gold, I think we could probably increase our... yes, we'll do that, I think. We'll increase the amount of sugar we can put out here. That's 80 loaves. We get 70 loaves out there. And that should increase our trade. Just a fraction, not much, because it's the lowest of all, 16 gold here. Followed by furs, followed by coffee. Now we do have a good... do we have tobacco? We don't have tobacco. Not yet, anyway. But we do have all of these warehouses upgraded. We want to squeeze out as much money as we can here, because ultimately we want to take Britain. And they do have Rupert's Land, but Britain is, if we take London, that would be the end of it. But what we are going to do is we're going to prepare ourselves. We're going to take Goa first, and then we're going to invest in our resources, in our technology. As you can see here, we do have spinning mule. Now, as you can see, you probably think, well, Mali is so far behind in terms of technology. We are, because we started out with no research facilities at all, not a single one. We've had to build our research up. All of this you see has either been bought with a lot of gold, or we've had to sort of develop it as quickly as we possibly can by putting up research centres as quickly as we possibly can, sacrificing in other areas to get them up and running, and then we've just basically steamrolled everything we can. We don't have anything in naval at all apart from, as you can see, a seasoning. But ultimately we want to get lime juice sauerkraut here and sauerkraut here to get the naval hospital. That really is where we want to end up. And of course we got to need a dry dock. Wouldn't go amiss either. To start we do need to increase our naval presence as well. Machined rifling will give us riflemen and sharpshooters, but Army Staff College is going to give us a lot, so our options are rather limited in terms of our troops, but however we will work with what we've got. And we do have still a huge amount. I would like to try and get joint stock companies, because it will allow us to get more a commercial basin, which of course will increase our trade routes and our regional wealth, and our wealth per turn to town as well, town wealth, so that'll be excellent. And I just want to point you in the right direction, my friends, in terms of our ministers. Look at the Treasury Minister. Without a shadow of a doubt, without a single question here, this gentleman is the best cabinet member I have ever seen in any campaign ever. Look at his bonus for global tax, plus 7%. Look at his bonus to growth, the trade growth income, 14%. And plus 14 per turn to town wealth in the home theatre. It blows my mind, the sheer amount of money that man is bringing in single-handedly into the coffers. Our popularity is growing. Our monarch is, should we say, mediocre at best. However, it is the cabinet that is really bringing this wonderful empire to fruition here. We've got plus 12 to diplomatic relations. The naval is fantastic. Our military costs are absolutely halved when we have this gentleman here. Look at this. Absolutely wonderful. Now our candidates for the route aren't of the finest. This gentleman is Paolo Passetti, bon voyant. So not these. We do have some wonderful candidates here as well. It must be fair. So we've got a lot to consider still, but we're going to take Goa. That's our primary goal here. If we can remove these gentlemen and deal with them rather than have Goa, that'll be the last remaining coastal trade route open to ourselves. Trade is our absolute lifeblood. It is really what's keeping us afloat, no pun intended. So it really is what we need to do. So we need to take Goa, open up the ports, get it linked in here, get this port open, repair this port here as well in Mysore, because that's going to boost our income massively, because Mysore is an incredibly rich region. Bring Goa up, get the Goa up running here in Barcelona here, the trading port, and then have huge trade here, because you moment you've got 1,482 coming here from Vengurla, but we have these two then joining this. It should at least double the amount of trade we have coming in here, and we will continue increasing and growing the nation. And in the meantime, we'll start planning for our invasion of Britain. We will not let Britain go, I can assure you. We're not going to take on Poland single-handedly. That would be ludicrous. So we're going to sort of, shall we say, move in the shadows, move around the edges, strike where we can, strike with maximum power. Ultimately, we are going to take Hyderabad, but not yet. So let us begin this battle here. What are we up against? We're up against a formidable foe. This is a formidable foe here. We mustn't underestimate what we're up against. But we do have the firepower, and we do have the forces a little bit, especially with the two Marines. They're going to really add the real zeal to our assault here. We've got to take Goa. The council has called for us to take it, and thus we shall bring the last remaining coastal region, indeed the last Marathan region, under our control, and hopefully dispense with them once and for all. They have been an absolute menace, and then we can begin building and planning for our expedition into Britain. Let's begin. That. We're going to assault. Let's do this, my friends. Let us do this. I'd like to thank you all the council for your wonderful support, and all new council members as well who've just been, I mean, it's just wonderful to read your comments. The comments have been absolutely incredible, they really have. For all campaigns, I'd like to thank all of you, my friends, for all that. I know I'm only able to produce one video a week, but I hope it's at the moment enough, my friends. Maybe in the future if things do clear up a little bit, I'll be able to get more out, but I hope you're enjoying them. And I'd like to thank you all for your wonderful support. Now look at this absolute blistering hot day here, blisteringly hot. I believe this could be sort of on the edge of dusk here, and the topography here. Now, oh, look at that! Now we've only got, I mean, the deployment zone here is unusual to say the least. We've got this sort of very sort of, you've got a huge deployment zone. I mean, it is massive. That is vast, not only in depth but in width as well, length as well. I mean, look at that, that's huge. But I'm not really quite sure what this is here. I was expected to sort of push it, but look at that in the background there. There's Goa in the background. Look at that. What a wonder. Now here's the provincial town we're sort of striking into. We can't get bogged down in this sort of town, village, city fighting. But look at that there. I mean, look at that town hall. Isn't the architecture here on the subcontinent an absolute wonder? I mean, that is nothing short of beautiful. It really is. Look at that. Now that would be, oh, that would be a joy to defend that there. Look at that. But we must move our gaze away from admiring the architecture and move now to taking the town, where they have a very small deployment zone, but it's got a huge amount of depth. So we've got to surmise where they might be moving. Look at that there. If they're up on that hill there, that would be a real task to assault that hill. But we don't want to get bogged down in that town fighting. We've got to try and outflank them as best we can here. We also need to use our guns to bring them to sort of lay them low, as it were. We might even push our guns right out into the forefront here and really bring the firepower to them. Now I know many of the council ask us to move the artillery into the actual line and use the howitzers in the back, and we might do that. We might even set ourselves up along this here, sort of at an angle here. Have a strike force potentially moving out on the right flank here, some cavalry units. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. So let's first of all take our cavalry units and put them to one flank here, put them out so we can operate and deploy our other forces freely. Look at that. Look at that sight there. Cuirassiers are a wonder. The Knights of St. John really do have a wonderful uniform. Look at this. And then you go to horse. Oh, look at the horse guard. Look at the horse guards. And the general and his adjutant is wonderful. Look at that. Different uniforms as well. Look at that. Different uniforms signifying different regiments, different responsibilities. Absolutely fantastic, it really is. Now let us deploy in that sort of, we will probably have a strike force moving out from the lines here, but ultimately what we want to do is we want to strike as hard and as fast as we possibly can here, using our firepower. We have the advantage in firepower, but we'll probably set up a defensive line, and you will put the artillery in that defensive line, but have the howitzers, we need to put our best foot forward here. Aggression would probably be the better option. So what we'll do is we'll just take the howitzers out here and put them here. And then we'll have our general. No, we don't have a general, no council member in here. So if any council member would like to be the commander here of this particular army here, and go up, by all means, that shall be opened. We've got a quick line. And then we're going to set up our defensive line here. I think we'll keep the Marines as one of our main strike force. I mean, look at them, look at the Marines here. I mean, if that doesn't bring a tear of joy to your eye, I mean, nothing will. Look at that. A real sort of, that really is a strong strike force here. Since we're over an open battle here, I think we'll have, yep, we've got the sepoys now. They are actually, we'll have the 81st as our first defensive line here. Yep. And then either side here we have the 30th Regiment. Perfect. And then either side of that, we have the 31st Regiment here. Perfect. Absolutely. Look at that. And then we'll have regiments either side of them. So 82nd will be on the left flank here. Gentlemen. Thank you. 83rd on the right. Starting to form that defensive line here now. Let's just, the Marines here, we've got sepoys here. We might put sepoys in here Look, oh, look at the sepoys. What a wonder. Oh, that is absolutely fantastic. We put the sepoys in because they are, and they do have veterancy here. Put the sepoys here on the right of the 83rd, and on the 82nd regiment we'll have this deploying here. Now we can't deploy them at full line length at the moment. We shall do once deployment has ended here. We'll stretch them out that far. Now demarcation is here, so we can't go any further than this here. So we are stretched to the limit here. Look at that there, that cliff edge, nowhere else to go. And I think we'll just move these guns in a little bit closer and centralise them here a little bit. Gentlemen, thank you. Perfect. Now we do need to form a strike team here. We have the 75th joining the Marines. Gentlemen, please. Thank you. And we'll have the 76th. We do have plans for these gentlemen. Now we have the 69th Regiment of Sepoys on the right. We don't want to get swamped here, so what we'll do is we'll have this group of Sepoys in reserve just as a backup, just in case one of the flanks is threatened. Potentially here the left flank could be threatened. We've got this strike force here. Now I would like to move the strike force out and really sort of harass and harangue the Marathons here. Let's bring them thus. We've also got the cavalry here. I think we'll keep one of the 26 here back in reserve just as a defensive force. Actually, we'll have two of the Cuirassier Guards here in reserve, because we've got to make sure that our main line holds. We'll have the Horse Guards here as the main punching, so the mobile weight behind this here. I think we've established a strong defensive line, but we've also got this sort of strike group who's going to sort of try and harass it and move past the village here if we can. Let's begin in deployment. Oh, look at that. Well, I set up a ground shot here, so as soon as they come within range here. Now what are we up against here? Can we move around here? We are going to move around here. Double time, gentlemen, double time. Got Marines moving on. Look at that. Oh, gentlemen, move. Got cavalry moving as well in. Got to try and get out of that range of that cannon. Oh, look at that, they're already bombarding here. The bombardment has started. We've got Lancers moving in here. Got to be prepared for that fight there. It's going to be a brutish fight. Quick line, there it is. As you can see, they started moving quite aggressively here on this flank here now. That's why we held the cavalry back. We're going to give them free range here. Oh, look at that. What we're going to do is we're going to strike down on the flank of these advancing troops here. going into canister shot. Look at that, absolutely broken. Going to push hard on this flank here. We're going to switch. Oh, that's a brutish. More elephants, here they come. Deal with these, deal with these. They're not going to break easy at all. They're waving already. Gentlemen, this is not a silly stroll. For goodness sakes, sir, for goodness sakes. Ceasefire. Let's go, gentlemen. tough fight. That was a tough fight. They just threw everything they could to this there. Let's finish this off. Once and for all. Dealt with all of the main infantry units. Let's move on to our next phase. Gentlemen, if I may be so bold, let's have some discipline here, please. I don't care how tired you are moving, lads. We've got a mission. Yeah, here we come. Here they come. Lancers, they're sending in the big guns now. This is not over, not by a long shot, sir. Trying to pick off the isolated unit. Wise tactic there, but little do they know they're against someone who's prepared for that. Steady, lads, steady. Hold the line. Hold. Back in formation. Reform square. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you very much. That square was broken. Not very many times you see a square being broken like that, but I managed to hold the police is going on here. That's more like it, gentlemen. That's more like it. They smashed that company in there. Our regiment is absolutely smashed to pieces. Here they come. Let's see how they fare now. Against two. Oh, they came back. All this. That's more like it. Held there. Absolute rock solid there, sir. Suppoys have done a wonderful job there. Broken. We've lost one regiment here, completely shattered, with the 75th. By Jove, what a fight this has been. We haven't backed away from... Wait a minute. Everything, sir. Every single man. We shall not leave anything behind here. We've pushed these men hard here, but they have to be pushed, sir. Got the regiment here. Oh, the Marines are gone. The cuirassiers have gone, I beg your pardon. was a valiant fight. They've gone. Get yourselves back here, gentlemen, thank you. Come on, gentlemen, let's reload. First line, fire! Of course they're wavering. Second line, fire! Here they come, the last of the cavalry, sir. Horse guards. Steady now, gentlemen, steady now. They've come back there. Let's get in their faces, gentlemen. Oh, we just missed that there. Get them hand to hand. Yes, he's gone, sir. I see him side. Gone. Of course, they're shattered. Oh, what a wonderful fight that was. Retreat, lads, retreat. Yes. Of course, what a wonderful fight that was. And Goa is finally under our control at last. Oh, that's what a wonder. Yes, Goa is gone. Goa is ours, and Marathons have finally collapsed. Oh, what a fantastic sight that is. Absolutely fantastic. Metal roads all throughout. I believe our infrastructure is at full strength. It is indeed. But we finally got Goa. And we've also got the port now as well. Both these ports will be opened up. I believe we can probably start. We are definitely going to start replenishing and repairing here. It's going to cost us a pretty penny there. Oh, look at that. We've got 3 regiments of Marines here as well, which we are going to form another base upon. So we've got a very powerful army being put together here outside Calcutta. And the same could be said for Satara here. If we could put together a very powerful strike force, perhaps also using these gentlemen here as well, we could even launch an attack into Britain. But to carve out this empire here for ourselves in the subcontinent is a wonder. It really is. Something we've wanted to do for a long time. It's a second base of operations, or third base of operations, should I say. And this should open up a great opportunity for us to actually do some and build a real empire here. Eventually we will bring all of this continent under our control. And then look out, the world shall then tremble. So let's end this turn here. Let's just see what happens. Let's see what the consequences of that might be. Now Britain does nothing as well. Austria are quite clearly on the war path here with somebody. Hopefully they're going to defend Spain. The Dutch are in a brutal war with the Poles. So we can hopefully, the Dutch are going to keep Poland tied down for a good while yet. And we have Spain. Ooh, mind you, there's a lot. Oh, look at that there. Look at that. You just saw that there, my friends. That there just opened up. That just became Dutch. That means the Dutch have absolutely taken a huge swathe there. Have they taken Warsaw? Is that Warsaw fallen to the Dutch? If it is, that's a huge, huge prize for the Dutch, who are absolutely relentless. And Spain were an ally of ours. It's good to see. I believe they're at war with the Ottomans, so that's a little bit of a conundrum, should we say, on our part. We're trying. Now, give you Mysore for peace? Why would we, sir? That's because you are feeling the struggle now against the United Provinces. They're starting to really hit you. Why would we give you that? Peace? We don't have a problem with that, but not with Mysore in your back pocket, sir. Not a chance. No, not a chance, sir. Not a chance. Send your forces forthwith, and we shall put them to the sword. Now the Ottomans are hopefully... I think actually the Ottomans are attacking the Russians here in Belgrade, I believe. Now I'm hoping the Ottomans can actually do us a favour here and keep the Russians and indeed the Poles at bay. And in fact, I would dare to say that our trade with the Ottomans is effectively keeping the Ottoman Empire in good order, and financially at least, and having the ability, because look at that, they've upgraded all of this here. This is fully upgraded. Istanbul, that's a powerhouse. That's an absolute powerhouse. Mughal Empire. Now we are allied with the Mughal Empire, so we're doing okay. Afghanistan, Quebec, so I should put, okay. -2. Now we could exempt that there and bring that under control, which I think we might just do. Yeah, we're going to exempt this here from tax, just to bring things under a little bit of control here. We don't want that there to be spiraling out of control. Ah, look at that there. So we'll put that into one. And we're also going to replenish this army here, which really has fought with great elan and great panache. There it is, 780 here. Let's get all of this repaired here. And 1040 there, that's more like it, sir. Now, is our trade fully open now? Yes, it is indeed. India, look at that, fully open. So now the floodgates can open to all our trade. We still haven't repaired that there yet either. But full strength. What we are going to do is we're going to bring them into the central of Bijapur here. We're going to start putting an army together. We are going to take the fight to Britain. Look at that, 4,420 here. That is a wonder. But the Marathas must have fallen. Oh, look at that there. That's more like it. So the Mediterranean, we've got some ships in the Mediterranean here as well. Actually, we can upgrade this port here as well, which will increase our trade. It'll also increase the tea warehouse here, which is going to give us 70 chests. What is T doing at the moment? Because remember, we are a trading nation, primarily a trading nation. 26, not too bad at all. So actually we will upgrade that as well to increase the amount of trade moving out. So T will actually be quite a prominent trade export of ours.
Pronti all'azione.
Actually move that into there. And we can actually replenish and repair these. Actually we can't, which is... Ah, I know why, because it's not a... We shall send them round to here to repair and replenish.
Qualche ordine?
That's more like it. We do have some more galleons here, which is excellent to see. So we do have a reasonable fleet here, and we've also got some more galleons, and indeed... So we've got a reasonable fleet there, but nothing that would really do any damage to any of the major nations, as it were. Is everything at full strength here in terms of our economy? Have we upgraded everything we can? We have here. We just need joint stock companies. Now, what does this army here need? More in line infantry. Oh. Indian mercenaries, that does look... Mind you, I think company line infantry here is going to be of more value to us. Let's move into here. There's a strong force there, but what is their position with us? Very friendly, the Mughal, yeah, plus 222, so that's a pretty secure alliance there at the moment. Aha! Now, of course, we are also moving in additional force I've forgotten about. Look at that! Now we're moving this fleet, this force into here, I believe, because the council has asked for us to stage an attack against the Bahamas and Jamaica. So we are going to, I think we'll just land our troops in here until we're ready here to strike.
Ordini, capitano. Ordini, capitano. Vele spiegate.
So we've got this army now landing. We've got another army here as well. I wonder what is he actually? What is here? The British have here. Let's have a quick look here. Oh, look at that! That's an army of a lot of colonial line infantry there. Colonial. Okay, it's not. We've got the Dutch here in Hispaniola. The British do have forces here, but nothing we couldn't handle, to be honest with you. It's got a 1,040 here coming from here, and there's 1,120 coming from here. That's all. Look at that. They've got a plantation there, abundant yield, steam power, dare I say. Look at that. And a fifth rate here as well. We could blockade that and then land a force in Jamaica here and take this. It would be a fight for the port though. Kingston, there would be a battle of Kingston. And we'd also see the battle here for Nassau here in Bahamas. But that's a coffee warehouse there, not steam powered just yet. But that's a commercial basin. Now that would really be something to behold. And indeed, that would give us a great swathe of the Caribbean under our control. Of course, we would have to, well, we are at peace with the Dutch, which is absolutely fine. We can't squeeze any more out of these yet. We need to upgrade these to the commercial basin as quickly as possible to open up those additional trade routes. And what we will do next, I think what we'll do next turn, is we will actually, now for you to move this force out, what would, see, resistance foreign occupation is 14, that's pretty aggressive. We move these forces out, we'd just about be under control here. ideally we'd like to take Bahamas and Jamaica in one fell swoop. We also, just as our last action here, I think we will send these gentlemen to some trade nodes here. Send to East Africa. I will send this gentleman down to the south, our sort of Brazilian redoubt. Do we have anywhere else? We do indeed. Dare I forget. And there as well. We shall send this. He's not going to reach there. No, he's not. Not even the corner there. Slightly no. I think we'll send this gentleman to West Africa. No, we'll send him to East Africa. We've got to keep that trade coming in all the time. 70,000 now. That's increased. Has that increased here from these gentlemen? It has. It's gone up by 2,000. That's now 30,000. And look at that. The Ottoman Empire has hit Nice here. So they are attacking, they are fighting the Russians here. They have Bosnia. Warsaw has fallen indeed. I do, look at that. I mean, Poland, the Dutch have absolutely just gone rampant here. There's every chance that Gdansk might even fall here at this rate. And if Gdansk falls, then all of this sort of northern seaboard here is under Dutch control, and they have delved deep into the east here. They really have plunged deep into the east here. I'm looking at the size of the Dutch Empire. It is huge. I've never seen anything like it. We just hope that the Ottomans can hold out against the Dutch, because that would be the next big fight, I think. Or maybe even Russia. Now, what a fight that would be. But my friends, I think we're going to end this episode here. We have achieved our ultimate goal here, which is to take Goa. It's been replenished and repaired. Infrastructure is good. The army is now being rebuilt and restructured. We've got the ports back opening here, and they're going to be trading again. Well, they are trading again now, and upgrading as well to commercial ports. And we really are now pushing on here. We want to get as much money as we possibly can and build a brand new army group as well. Dare I say that army group is needed as well here. We've got to bring this under control. If we do that, see, we're gonna have a little bit of a rebellion here, which we don't really want. We've got 15,000 here at the moment here, which is good to see. For some reason, they are not happy, and I'm not sure. Clamour for reform. Probably because we've got the college going up. But if there is going to be a rebellion, we'll face it down. That is that. What is our tax here? Policies. And our tax levels were much lower than that. What we will do is we'll lower our tax levels here down to bare minimum 12,000. I think that'll help encourage a lot of growth. Indeed. But we'll have to take that hit there. I want to encourage as much growth as we possibly can here, because ultimately, oh good grief, look at the Dutch. My goodness me, the Dutch have got some powerful forces here. Wow. I was not expecting that to be there. So you really want to hold on to Ceylon. I don't blame them. That's a prominent port. Colombo is a prominent port. However, my friends, we're going to end this episode right here. As always, my friends, the Council's advice is going to be critical in this campaign. And what do you think of our potential expedition, our operation against the British here? It's going to commit a great swathe of our forces, particularly taking London. It's going to be difficult. Landing is going to be difficult as well, especially with the superiority the British have in terms of naval forces. But I think it's important that we do get ourselves into the west here and try and get an anchor here. It will possibly lead us and help us maybe move against. If the Dutch ever move against us, we can move against the Dutch quite quickly here. Strike against France and Amsterdam itself and Brussels. But at the moment we're going to just let the Dutch and the Poles just fight it out, because of course they want peace, because they realise they're getting absolutely battered here by the Dutch, and it's I've got to be honest with you, it's a little bit of a joy to see here having our enemies being poleaxed and pulverised by the Dutch. It really is a joy to see. I thought Warsaw had fallen, and it has. And now I think they're on the verge of taking Gdansk as well. If they do that, I think the Poles might be in a little bit of trouble. And that means we can then increase our links, our trade, and our alliance with the Ottomans. Perhaps even move against the Poland. We might even move against Poland, maybe. But I'm going to leave that to the council and what you decide, my friends. And as always, I'd like to thank all of you for your wonderful advice and your wonderful support. It's been absolutely exemplary, it really has. But I'm going to leave this episode here, my friends. We have achieved what we wanted in the subcontinent India for the time being. Only for the time being, remember. But ultimately, we want all of the continent for ourselves. But I hope you've enjoyed it. It's definitely been I've really enjoyed coming back to this campaign. I really do like this campaign a lot. But I hope you've enjoyed it. Whatever you do, my friends, please be safe. And until next time, bye for now.